So we all heard the breaking news that Mike Tyson wasn't going to make the Jake Paul fight. He had an old bit of a stomach bug or something like that, and he bounced out of there. Big news all across the internet. Who was going to replace Mike Tyson? Names like Mike Perry and Ryan Garcia were put into the hat, which I actually don't mind the idea of Ryan Garcia. I know he's the smaller dude, but if he catches Jake with that left hook, ba-boom, he's out. So that was all very interesting. Woke up this morning to the news that Logan Paul finally wants to settle the beef, the envy, the jealousy. Everything is going to be put to bed. He's going to step in and save this card.
This is impossible. The two men fighting for the championship tonight are brothers. Go on!
Here we have a tweet from Logan Paul saying, so Mike Tyson is out, I'll step in and we can settle this once and for all. So how is everybody perceiving this challenge that Logan Paul put towards his brother Jake Paul? I think that Jake Paul kind of sees it as a little bit of banter between brothers, the same way he does every time Logan Paul does something disgusting to his younger brother. We've seen Jake Paul and his circle of friends trying to convince him that his older brother is a douche, but there's some sort of bond there that definitely isn't reciprocal. And in terms of how we all see this news of Jake Paul versus Logan Paul, I'm interested. I want to see it. I think Jake sees it as a bit of a joke, whereas we have Logan Paul, he sees it as an opportunity to beat his younger brother. That's the type of dude he is. We see that when Jake Paul does well at anything, Logan Paul is in the background, seething, absolutely hating the idea that his brother is more successful than him. This is a blood feud, a rivalry that's been going on for years that seems to be very one-sided if we're being honest. Logan Paul has established himself as the most reprehensible brother out of the two, and Jake Paul has actually started to garnish a lot of momentum in terms of people thinking that, okay, so not only is he the best boxer out of the two brothers, but he's actually more likable, which is probably a bigger achievement if you think of it. I don't know if this is going to happen. If it does happen, I'll definitely be watching this, and this is far more interesting than the Mike Tyson one for me. But the idea of Jake Paul absolutely sparking out Logan Paul, everybody has to buy into that, right? You can listen to numerous different stories relayed from Jake Paul himself, where he says growing up, Logan Paul didn't even want to hang out with him. Used to send him off on his own on a bicycle, just going around asking dudes to hang out with him because his brother was such an asshole and wouldn't hang out with him. Absolutely disgusting behavior. And once Jake Paul got into a position there where he started getting some respect from people, became successful in the YouTube world and the business world, all of a sudden Logan wanted it. He wanted to swoop in and take everything. This Gambine actually went as far as to take Jake Paul's bird. Then he threw this massive public hissy fit because Jake Paul, whilst putting on one of these boxing events, wouldn't allow him to carry out the prime bottle or some shit like that, and actually lost the plot live on a podcast where the two of them went back and forth. And the dynamic between these brothers is Jake Paul keeps giving him another chance. All he has ever wanted to do is go into business with Logan Paul, which his brother says, no, absolutely not. What I will do is I will set up a business with one of your biggest rivals, KSI, with the forehead. That business becomes huge and blows up, and that's prime. Finally, Jake Paul starts getting the recognition that he believes he deserves for the work that he's done in terms of content creation and the boxing world, and he gets this documentary made about him over on Netflix. Logan Paul turns up in the documentary and afterwards talking about the documentary, just plastered in prime shit, promoting himself, and just talks about Jake in this real condescending bullshit way. So Logan Paul is not just a disgusting dude that we all can see. He's a reprehensible brother to Jake Paul. I know people were talking about Mike Perry, people were talking about Ryan Garcia. I want to see Logan Paul fight Jake Paul. I want to see this rivalry settled once and for all, as Logan said last night, with tears in his eyes, sitting there with the phone in his hand as he was tweeting this out, thinking, okay, this will actually slide out nicely here. Jake will be all jovial about it and be like, oh haha, my brother said he'd step in and save the card for all the other fighters. But really what was happening is he was sitting there clenched fist, gritted teeth, crying because he wants to beat his younger brother so bad. What a guy. What an absolute guy. Nice little bit of news to wake up to this morning. And in terms of the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight being cancelled, this is a great replacement fighter for me. I'm all up for it. Let me know what you think down below. And if any of it made sense, do me a favor and hit like, subscribe and share. I appreciate you. Cheers.